Hey, it's Sean McCabe with Sean West TV. I want to talk about copying. Now, from a creator's perspective, it's no fun having your work copied. When you put in a bunch of hard work to create something original only to have it ripped off by someone else who then presents it as their own, that can be really disheartening. Some companies will even go so far as to rip off designers and then sell their designs on t-shirts and other merchandise. Not only is this kind of behavior morally questionable, but it can get you into serious legal trouble. If you're copying the work of others, you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit. And it sounds like an awfully scary world. If you're just starting out and looking for inspiration, you might be worried that you're infringing upon someone. How can you create, how can you be inspired without copying someone? Well, let's talk about the good kind of copying. It should make you feel better to know that we all start by copying. It's how we learn. It's how we learn language and how to speak. It's how we learn any skill like music or art or programming. We copy the masters before us. There's nothing wrong with copying to learn. But notice the important part, copying to learn. I like the example of the Mona Lisa. If you want to get better at painting, then by all means copy the iconic piece of art. But do not publish this work. Copy to learn, but don't ever publish derivative works. If you copy someone else's work, that is a derivative work. It doesn't belong in a gallery, it doesn't belong in a showcase, and you should not publish that work anywhere. Not on your website, not on social media. This is a very critical point. Posting to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is publishing. You are publishing something to the internet. Just because it's an app does not make it any less an act of publishing. This is not your work. It's a derivative and a copy. You made it without permission, therefore you're not permitted to display or publish this work. So when can you copy? You can copy to practice and you can copy to learn. Copy to improve your skills. If you want to get better at lettering, have a field day and look at all of my work. Even copy all of my work for practice. Don't publish this work because it's not your own work. It's not your own original creation. You need to have developed your own voice and style before publishing online. Yes, this includes social media. Those are not exceptions. We now live in a social world that encourages us to stream our consciousness. It encourages us to share everything we do, everything that happens to us. But contrary to popular belief, you don't have to share everything that you make. What you do privately for developing your own skills is one thing, but what you publish needs to have your own spin and style on it. My favorite example of inspiration without copying is Eric Spiekermann. He's a type designer from Germany, and when he wants to create a typeface within a certain style, he will immerse himself in examples and inspiration from that style, and he'll sleep on it. So here's the key. The next day, he'll wake up and he'll create something from memory. I want to share 3 steps to creating original work. There's a few parts to this. Number 1, diversify your sources of inspiration. Don't only look to one example of a style that you like or one person who has a style that you admire. Take in numerous examples to increase the diversity of what inspires you. Number 2, immerse yourself in inspiration and then sleep on it. Take in the stimuli and then shut it off. Sleep. Allow your mind to process. This will mix everything together into what I like to call a mental stew. It's something that is collective and doesn't taste like any one individual ingredient. It has its own unique flavor. Number 3, create from memory, not from reference. You've stored up a mental bank of inspiration. Now pull from that. Don't look at a mood board. Don't have reference material up in front of you. This is terrible advice that leads to direct copying. Here's a question I get a lot. Can derivative works be published as long as I attribute them? No, definitely not. This is a common assumption. Simply attributing a work does not give you permission to publish that work. It's still an infringement. The only instance where this is acceptable is when you have express written consent from the original creator. As long as you keep your copied works private and you don't publish them, I'd say go nuts with copying. I would encourage it even, because copying is a great way to learn, especially when you're just getting started. However, imitation is not the sincerest form of flattery when it comes to infringing upon the rights of another creator. Never publish derivative works, not on your website, not on Instagram, not anywhere. If you have any doubts, get permission. The most important thing you can do is diversify your inspiration. There's nothing new under the sun, but that refers more to general categorization. Don't use that as an excuse to copy. There's plenty of room for innovation. You can still have a unique style within those categories. Take in new media, try new things, combine styles, try new tools, diversify your sources of inspiration, and recreate from memory. Stay creative. It's about